Now, reports of the FPS death have clearly been greatly exaggerated, as evidenced by the bevy of quality titles the genre has unleashed upon us in recent times, and it's clearly not letting up either, what with the number of mind-bogglingly impressive first-person shooters that are due to be released in the near future. So, let's have a chat about them then, as I'm Jules, this is FGS, and these are the top 10 upcoming unbelievable FPS games. Number 10, Unrecord. Unrecord is a new FPS so stupendously good-looking that its 2023 reveal trailer was swiftly met with accusations that the footage just had to be fake. But developer Drama quickly proved that Unrecord is the real deal, a gritty first-person narrative-driven shooter where players assume the role of a tactical police officer as they attempt to solve a pretty tough case. The rub here is that the action unfolds from the perspective of the officer's body camera, and Drama has done a frankly flabbergasting job of replicating the aesthetic subtleties of real body cam footage. It's probably one of the few times where the term photorealistic genuinely applies to a video game. The lighting, camera movement, and overall physics look ridiculously good. Though we haven't heard much about the game since its reveal over 2 years ago, considering it's been developed by a small independent team, hopefully they're just hard at work with their heads down. If the final game can maintain the stonking visual fidelity showcased in the reveal trailer, then Unrecord will be one of the most visually stunning first-person shooters ever made. Number 9, Judas. Judas is the debut outing from Ghost Story Games, the studio founded by BioShock creator Ken Levine, and to say that BioShock vibes are pretty strong with this one would be quite the understatement. Judas is a first-person shooter slash immersive sim set aboard the Mayflower, a ship transporting the last survivors of humanity through space. As the title character, players lead a revolution on the vessel in the wake of a calamity, where they find themselves vying for control against 3 distinct factions. Quick though some have been to dub Judas just BioShock in space, Levine insists that this new game will be pretty different. For one, it will be considerably less linear, with small actions able to cause massive variations in the story and gameplay, while the core loop is said to be heavily inspired by roguelikes. But the BioShock DNA is assuredly still there. The ornate art direction for one, and also a bevy of hacking abilities alongside a large arsenal of weaponry. Number 8. Ill. Not unlike Unrecord, Ill is a game that looked a little too good to be true when it was first revealed, and yet this disturbing survival horror romp does indeed appear to be totally legit. Ill finds players navigating their way through a massive, obscenely creepy research fort filled to the brim with grotesque monsters. Thankfully, it looks like you've got a solid collection of weaponry, and better yet, the game's granular dismemberment mechanics will allow you to relish taking them apart with extreme prejudice. Despite its heightened nature, Ill is also about realism, because in addition to its utterly jaw-dropping visuals, it'll rock true-to-life physics, such as weapons with a sense of weight to them, to make everything feel that much more immersive. The game's development team also includes folk who've worked on acclaimed horror films such as Longlegs and VHS Beyond, so they clearly know a thing or two about nerve-jangling atmosphere. And if you're somehow still not sold, it's also a game where you can kick a mutant baby across a room. Because why the hell not? Number 7, Mouse PI for Hire. In what the hell sure news, we have Mouse PI for Hire, an FPS in the vein of 1940s hand-drawn cartoons that just might scratch that Cuphead itch. Players assume the role of rodent detective Jack Pepper, voiced by Troy Baker, because who else would do any voice acting in the world ever, as he pulls back the veil on corruption within the bleak city of Mouseburg. It's basically impossible not to be wowed by the game's pitch-perfect, old-timey-wimey black and white Steamboat Willie-inspired cartoon aesthetic, but don't let that style trick you into thinking that this is definitely for kids. That is to say, you've got some serious firepower on offer here to do some majorly gnarly damage. For instance, you can freeze enemies and shatter them to bits, melt the flesh off their animated bones with a turpentine gun, or just make their heads explode. It's clear that a ton of handcrafted love has gone into making this game, and it's tough to imagine a more unique looking FPS hitting the scene anytime soon. Number 6, Clockwork Revolution. Now, Judas isn't the only upcoming FPS that's wearing its BioShock influences on its sleeve. Clockwork Revolution basically looks and feels like the spiritual successor to BioShock Infinite, even though the steampunk-infused RPG was made by an entirely different team. From Wasteland 3 developers in Exile Entertainment, the game takes place in a Victorian-era metropolis called Avalon, where the villainous Lady Ironwood uses time travel to maintain the social order to her benefit. But when protagonist Morgan Vanette gains the ability to travel through time herself, herself, she too can change the past to enact real change. Beyond its utterly stunning art direction, Clockwork Revolution's big hook is that players can use the chronometer to travel back in time, influence the past, and then return to the present to experience the impact of your changes. It's an astoundingly ambitious idea, but don't let that fool you into thinking the game is taking itself dead seriously. The trailers have made it clear that Clockwork Revolution is card-carrying pulp with a keen sense of humour, while also relishing the over-the-top nature of its steampunk-spliced 19th century weaponry. This thing has sleeper hit written all over it, so make sure to keep your eyes on this one.
Brains. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it.
Number 5. Ferocious. The human race is collectively obsessed with dinosaurs. And so it's frankly surprising that the gaming market isn't absolutely flooded with dino shooters, but Ferocious soon looks set to fill that niche, as players take control of a shipwrecked protagonist who washes up on a mysterious island teeming with not only dinosaurs and killer mercenaries, but also mechs. While searching for your missing brother, you'll need to scavenge resources to craft weapons and gear, explore the island to find secrets to benefit your survival, and even use the dinosaurs themselves to your advantage by sicking them on other enemies. In the event that the upcoming Turok Origins fall short of expectations, it sure looks like Ferocious has the sauce, as the kids probably say these days. The eye-wateringly gorgeous environments, tactile flora and fauna, and again, dinosaurs, mercs, and mechs. Number 4. 83. 40v40 squad-based multiplayer shooter 83 was first announced all the way back in 2019, but once original studio Antimatter folded in 2023, many assumed the ambitious project was kaput. But the game since has been revived by new outfit Blue Dot Games, and from the most recent trailer, it looks like it could be throwing the multiplayer FPS gauntlet down right at the feet of Battlefield 6. 83 takes place in an alt-history 1983, where the Cold War has gone hot, resulting in an all-out conflict between NATO and the USSR across Europe. Blue Dot has promised that 83 will offer, and I quote, accessible realism in the same vein as Antimatter's Rising Storm series. Players will take part in tense, objective-focused squad-based skirmishes, but there's also a huge emphasis on quickly getting back into the action after being killed. That is to say that anyone fed up of dying in a massively multiplayer shooter and then spending 5 minutes hiking back to the action should be in good hands here. Tussling with a Goliath of a genre like Battlefield will not be easy, but Blue Dot is at least saying and showing all the right things so far. Number 3. Exekiller. Exekiller is a semi-open world retro-futuristic western FPS. How's that for a mouthful? The game takes place in a dystopian post-apocalyptic alt universe where a calamity has left Earth a desolate wasteland in which what remains of humanity struggles to survive. As the deliciously monikered bounty hunter Denzel Phoenix, you will traverse the ruins of former New York City while investigating the nature of the world-destroying catastrophe. Developers Paradox Studios have promised a story campaign that emphasizes player choice, yet anyone tired of open-world bloat will be relieved to hear that Exekiller consists of a smaller series of locales connected by a central hub. It's also one hell of a looker, clearly lifting lovingly from the likes of Fallout New Vegas and Cyberpunk 2077. The art department was also seemingly of the opinion that Mad Max Fury Road wasn't quite orange enough. But hey, bring it on. Number 2. Hunger. Hunger is a PvPvE extraction shooter from the original developers of Hell Let Loose, which transports players to a plague-ravaged Napoleonic Europe. You'll venture across the hostile, decaying land on expeditions to scavenge resources, take on rival survivors, and battle the infected horde. Hunger's big lure is that it's effectively fusing traditional squad-based extraction shooter mechanics with the addictive progression loop of an RPG. By completing quests and surviving expeditions, you'll level up, build your rep, grow stronger, and gain access to beefier weaponry. Hunger can also be played solo or in duos or trios, though unlike most genre offerings, you don't have to worry about a squad wipe, as death does not result in a loss of progress. With an emphasis on player customization and a social hub called The Chateau for players to hang out in, developer Good Fun Corporation clearly wants Hunger to be a game world that you'll want to reside in for the foreseeable future. Much as the extraction shooter is pretty wildly crowded at the moment, this at least looks like it's doing something difference, and of course, it is mighty handsome too. And number 1, Atomic Heart 2. Considering that Atomic Heart only came out in early 2023, few were expecting a sequel to already be in a deep state of production, but developer Munfish dropped a surprise reveal trailer for Atomic Heart 2 during Summer Games Fest this past June, confirming it to look pretty damn polished already. The original alt history shooter wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but it was overflowing with interesting ideas and rocked one hell of an awesome retro-futuristic aesthetic. Munfish has promised that the sequel will operate on a global scale while offering a deeper RPG system and more sophisticated combat. In the very least, the reveal trailer suggests that they're going to give players a whole lot of game. Atomic Heart 2 basically feels like a grab bag of cool things from existing games just smashed together to form something new. There are shades of Bioshock, Cyberpunk 2077, Metro, Just Cause, and countless other titles in the trailer. And while this could result in a bit of an unwieldy experience, it at least looks vibrant as hell and, most importantly, looks really, really fun. If it can fix the first game's gripes, there's every possibility for Atomic Heart 2 to be a quintessentially bigger, better sequel. Here's hoping. And there we go, my friends. Those were the top 10 upcoming unbelievable FPS games. I hope you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Instagram and Blue Sky, where I'm at RetroJ, but the O is a 0. Hope to see you over there, my friends. And I also hope that you're treating yourself well with love and respect, because you deserve the bloody best, alright? Yes, you do. Stop telling yourself otherwise. You're a massive ledge. Never forget that, my friends. Big love to you. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.